hello, Dario, and welcome to Acoustics Spotlight.
Thank you for me.
No problem. Thank you for being with us. So you're an acoustic designer with lots of experience as well. So can you just start by telling us a little bit about your background and what you did in terms of studies and all that?
Yes, after the high school, I started with engineering, a sort of mechanical engineering at the Polytechnic of Milano. But I didn't have very, precise ideas about my future. I knew that engineering could be something good in a way, in a very vague way, but I didn't have any precise focus. Yes. Then at the same time, I was playing my saxophone a lot. So at the end, I tried to find something which could be a very good, I would say, compromise, even if I don't like this word so much, because it's not really a compromise. It's a mix. It's a mix. It's a good mix between music and engineering in a way. So I found out that acoustics could be a good mix to do something with music and with something else. Okay, and then in the meanwhile, I fell in love with architecture. So as you know, maybe someone says that architecture is frozen music. I think was Goethe who said that. So in a way, I wanted to find something which was really a very a good interaction between music and architecture. So I found out that acoustics was a really good mix in that sense, and in particular, the recording studio is a sort of miniature, what you can do with sound and architecture in the same time. So I started with that. I designed a very poor recording studio for a friend of mine at first, for free. And then after that, I found someone went to that recording studio, and he said, well, I recorded my CD, so it was good. I have to build another a new recording studio in my house. So this person called me to Sicily, and the good thing is that he was mixing his CD in a studio of a person who was very famous in the mixing phase of the music production. And so when this sound engineer, had to build a new recording studio, called me, because he met me in that occasion.
Right.
So, in Italian we say that da cosa nasce cosa, no? From things, good things happens in a way.
Of course. So what do you do now in terms of work, and if you have an academic career or if you had previously?
Yes. After my degree, I made a PhD in acoustics in Copenhagen. And so the title of the thesis was Agora Acoustics, the acoustics of public squares. So that was interesting because the public square, you can think of a public square like a sort of living room of a city. So a place where people can meet and also can play music, because in summer period we always have some good concert in public square. So I was interested in how the public square could influence the sound of a concert. And yes, and then I also started to teach somehow. And sometimes I teach at IED now, Istituto Europeo di Design in Milan. Yeah, I started in 2008, I think, or 9, I don't remember. And it is a really good course in sound design. I just deal with acoustics, but the course is really complete, really interesting. They deal with a lot of softwares, music composition, history of music, and so on. So it's really interesting.
Oh, nice. On your daily work now, what do you usually do, and who do you work with? Do you work with architects directly, or
it depends?
For example,
it depends. Yeah, if they ask me to design a new recording studio, I do everything for myself. So I design both the architecture and the acoustic solution, and also the lighting solution, because light is a part of the project. So at the beginning, I was not really, the knowledge of the lighting design was not really good at the beginning. Then I made a course in lighting design at IED. So just to be more conscious about the property of light. So it was a really good course. So when they asked me to design a new recording studio, I do everything by myself. And then also I can work with architects if they ask me to be part of the project of a big project as a consultant, acoustic consultant. Okay, so in that case I do not design anything. I just say what kind of material you need to have a certain sound insulation from the facade, from the impact noise from the neighborhood, and so on.
Right. Cool. Then I think we can move on with the more focused question, as this interview will be focused on acoustic and architecture. First question for you is, what do you think is the relationship between these two disciplines, acoustic and architecture?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think that architecture is a service to humanity. Okay, so it's something that you do for human beings, and acoustics is a part of architecture for me. It's just a part, as it is engineering, structural engineering, light, the thermal focus on the physics of the buildings. Is all part of architecture, and architecture is a service to humankind. So the relationship is just a part of architecture for me. Because when I think of, for instance, of a project, I do not think in terms of acoustics. I just think in terms of what can be useful in terms of acoustics and in terms of lighting design, in terms of in the architecture view. So I don't want to be too much focused on one discipline, because in that case you would lose the rest of the project in a way. For instance, if you go inside you go into a recording studio, for instance, the first thing is that you see it. So the visual aspect of the recording studio is the first one you notice, and then you notice the sound, because maybe you listen to a piece of music. So the aesthetical vision is a part of the project. I always say that a beautiful recording studio that sounds good sounds better than a very awful recording studio that sounds good.
yes, so I totally agree.
Of course,
staying in a bunker for hours is not great.
Yes.
So do you reckon then you need to balance all of those bits that you spoke about? So the thermal comfort, the lighting and all of that, it needs to be taken in account in equal ways to achieve the best design possible.
Yes, yes. And of course the result is a sort of again of a compromise, a good compromise among all these things that you have to deal with. So of course the priority is the sound and the design, of course.
Yes.
So what benefits then come from having this whole comfort in studios, of having acoustic comfort and some sort of visual pleasantness and aesthetic and all that?
Yeah, I would say that you work well, you work better, because I think that if you are in a space, the first two senses that you use is hearing and vision, especially not just those two, but especially. So of course, if you touch surfaces is also another sense, but I think that the two important senses are hearing and vision. So if you deal only with vision, as the architects sometimes do, it's just a part of the problem. So the volume has to be seen and has to be heard in a way. So they have to be very in connection.
Right. So, well, we've digressed a little bit over here, but it's always interesting to hear you talk about acoustics. But then, so to finalize, what do you think about the role of acoustics? Do you think it's important we consider it? Of course, in your area is super important, but do you think it plays a role in people's everyday life?
Yes, I think that people are becoming more and more sensitive about acoustics, especially if you go to a restaurant, when you realize that you cannot speak, you cannot talk with your friend which is in front of you because you don't understand anything, and when you realize that you go out and you don't feel good. So I have a lot of friends who says, you have to work with the restaurants because we go there, we spend a lot of money, and we go outside. We also eat in a hurry because there is a sense of urge in a way.
Yes.
That I don't know. I also have this sensation. So I think we should, especially architects, should work with the acousticians in the phase of project, because if you deal with acoustics at the very beginning, the entire project would not cost more than without acoustics, because you just have to choose the right material. And also you have to hide acoustics, because sometimes you don't want to see absorbing material hanging around, because they are very helpful. You just have to be a very hidden acoustics in a way.
Yes.
So you have to use those materials, but they have to be hidden by something. You have to use the right shape of that material. You can use furniture as a sort of sound scattering. So if you are able to do that, it's okay.
So I think you have already answered in a way, but do you think that acoustics should be more popular these days? Maybe should be more taught in university as well, or courses?
Yes, especially in the course of architecture, because architects deal with volumes, with empty volumes. So they have to be more sensitive to the sound consequences, not just the light, also the sound.
Yes. Okay.
So finally, then, how would you? So how would you describe acoustics to someone that doesn't know it? This is basically because we found that difficulty all the time. Every time someone would ask us, especially in countries where acoustics is not as developed, you go, I'm studying acoustics, and they go, oh, that has to do with music. So how would you put it?
I would say that it's a way to control sound.
Right.
So it's a way to have a more pleasant place when you talk and when you listen to music and when you stay in silence also. It's just a way to control the propagation of sound in a place, also outside. Okay, it's like the different from a visual point of view between having a room full of mirrors and a room full of curtains. So if you have mirrors, when you switch the light on, you have an extra light, which is not good. But if you try to compensate this extra light with something which can absorb that light sound,
yes,
you have a more pleasant room.
Very cool. Okay. Right then.
Right.
Well, thank you so much then.
Thank you. Invitation.
Participated. Good.
All right, Dario. It was great to meet you. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Really a pleasure.
Okay. Grazie.
All right. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.